Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amber, and today I have 4 nautical/coastal DIYs to inspire you. But before we get started, in the description box below, you will find all of these projects time-stamped so that you can read the description, skip ahead and go find the one you want to watch, or, watch them all. But we will also link you to the blog posts that are over on my website. My blog is called themakersmap.com. You can go there any time of day, whenever you feel like it, and you can browse around the site. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, giving me a thumbs up, turn on the bell so you don't miss any future projects that I release. Right now, we are releasing videos on my channel every Friday. If you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming back to my channel, and I hope this video inspires you in some way. So without any more hesitation, let's go ahead and let's get started with our first project. Okay, let's get started with our first project. But before we do, I did want to tell you that I'm going to be using some items from the Dollar Tree that you may not have been able to snag. In case you didn't, I did a tracing of these items and I put them up on my blog under the free printables area. And you can go over to themakersmap.com/printables and you can find it there. And you can use these and print them out and trace them onto foam board, cardboard, and you will be able to use them for all your crafting adventures. So just put in your name, your email, and then select Give Me That Printable, and it'll be delivered to your inbox. All right, let's get started. Okay, so like I said, I'm using this ship's wheel from the Dollar Tree. I got it when they had the Shore Living collection in the stores, and I am using these half beads from Amazon. I will link everything in the description below, as well as a detailed blog post for this as well. So I'm just using some burnt umber apple barrel acrylic paint mixed with water to stain my ship's wheel. Now, I had to make a repair because my ship's wheel got broke, but we're painting over this so we can distress it. So it's not really that big of a deal. You don't even notice it now. So I just did a light coat of white chalk paint, and then I'm using this baker's twine that I got from Dollar Tree to wrap around the little handles of the ship's wheel. And I'm just gluing it on the back side so you don't even notice. And you're going to do this all the way around the ship's wheel. Now I'm using this Grapevine wreath from the Dollar Tree also, and I'm just putting glue on the touch points to attach it to the grapevine. Now you'll see that red center there in the ship's wheel. I was going to do something else and then I changed my mind. So it's super distracting, but I ended up covering it up. But anyways, I found this really cool ribbon at Hobby Lobby and I thought, oh gosh, we've got to use that to make a bow for this project. So I just tied it into a basic bow. I used a zip tie. And then I just trimmed it down a little bit just to kind of balance it out and then glued it to the top. I am going to hide the zip tie with a bead. I was going to use a red one and then I decided, no, let's go ahead with the blue. So I did distress the half beads that were on the ship's wheel and I painted the half bead blue and put it on to the top of it. And then I took some of this Dollar Tree nautical rope and tied it into this knot, and I'm gluing it to the back of the ship's wheel, like the grapevine area. It just made more sense to do it that way and it helped me find the center of it. So hope you enjoyed this one, and let's go ahead and get on to the next project. Okay, this one's going to be really fun. I think you're totally going to love it. So I am using this Lighthouse from the Dollar Tree, but before I did that, I wanted to go ahead and trace this out. That's why I was telling you about the printables. So a lot of people couldn't find these at Dollar Tree, but I did do a template so that you can print this out and put it onto cardboard so that you can also make this project as well. So I just took it apart. I used my heat gun to remove the adhesive from the ribbon that was attaching it. And then I took off the anchor that was on the back so that I could use it for another project. So what we're going to do is glue popsicle sticks to the back side of this lighthouse so that we can not have it moving, but it can be more solid. Now you didn't have to do this, but I really wanted to. We are going to just glue it to that tag from the Dollar Tree over there, but I thought these little wood pieces showing through looked really cool. So that is how I attach this, and you'll see as we go how it makes sense. So I am using this tag that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I'm using a paper towel to cover this. Now, I like mixed media projects, and so I just thought, wow, this would just be a really fun, different idea. Now, I was afraid that the brown of the tag would show through, so I did coat it with one light coat of white paint, and then I added some Mod Podge. And then I pulled the paper towel plies apart, and then glued them down, and then I just joined the next sheet onto the top of that, and you cannot even tell that there's a seam at all. And then I just dried it with my heat gun and then sand off the edges for a clean finish. And I think it was a really fun idea just to use the paper towels. Like I said, I love different stuff. So for the next step, we're going to paint our lighthouse. Now, I'm using spackling mixed with different colors of paint. And we're going to do like layered. So it's going to be striped, like red, white, and then blue. So I'm using the blue paint, the red paint, white paint. All of them are going to be mixed with the spackling. And you're going to want to mix them to whatever consistency you like. I just wanted it to be really textured. I thought this would be a really fun mixed media type of project. And then I just use a larger popsicle stick to help guide me to create lines. I didn't want to put any marks on this. I wanted it to kind of feel organic. Even if it kind of bled through like it did under the popsicle stick, I was okay with that. So last step's going to be adding the red stripes, and I did dry them in between a little bit just in case my hand touched it, but it's going to take a little bit of time for this to fully dry. It dried enough for me to make the project, but I did let this sit overnight. So when you're assembling it, just be careful, touching the lighthouse if it's still wet. And then I took some nautical rope and we're just gluing it around the tag just to give it a little bit of detail and embellishment. Now, I think that this really turned out really cute. And again, if you want to explore the creations of paper towel crafts, go ahead. I think you would really enjoy it. So I'm just embellishing this a little bit with some half wood beads. Now, I didn't paint my wood beads, but I think that if you wanted to, you could. But I really wanted the lighthouse to have the pop of color and let everything else kind of be the neutral. So I took a little piece of corrugated cardboard scrapbook paper, and that's what I covered the windows with so you could not see them through the front. And I think it was a perfect touch. And then I just added a little bit of glue, stuck it on there, and here it is. I hope you love this as much as I do. Okay, let's get started with this one. So this one also has the shapes traced out in a printable that I told you about earlier. I am using these Dollar Tree little mini palettes. I'm using burnt umber apple barrel paint mixed with some water, and I just used a baby wipe to stain these palettes. And I am going to dry brush kind of a distressed white finish on them. I wanted it to feel weathered, basically. I am using some blue paint, just acrylic paint, and I'm just applying it with a baby wipe. You can use a paintbrush, you can use a wipe. Sometimes I just like to get my hands dirty. I don't know, but I like how it turned out. And then we're going to lay these over the top of this, and we're going to add those half wood beads. We're not going to paint those, but if you want to paint them, you totally can. And I was just checking the placement of the rope to see how I liked it. I think it turned out really cute, but I am gluing everything onto this board, and then before I tell you any more, I do want to tell you that if you don't like the nautical projects, you can change out these shapes for something that's farmhouse or Americana or modern boho. You can totally dress this up the way that you want to, because I feel like it could be so neutral. And then I am going to glue on this Dollar Tree rope to the back side, and that's how we're going to hang it. Now, I left room to like loop it at the top, but if you don't want to loop it and you just want to hang it with a rope and not have a hanger at the top, you can do that as well. And then I am just going to cut off the excess. Some people might want to add something at the bottom there, maybe a tassel or some hooks. I don't know, but you could be creative in your own way. Now, I am taking some ribbon from the Dollar Tree and I am making a bow. I am going to add some raffia, even though I feel like it may not go with the nautical. I think that for this project, I felt like it went. So you can decide if you want to add a bow or not. I think it was the perfect touch. And then we're just going to top off that bow with a half wood bead. And I thought it was the perfect, little embellishment there at the end. So I would love to know what you think about this project. For me, it was a total favorite. I love it. And don't forget to get those printables so that you can make this too. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and make this one. So I'll just be honest with you, this one was a little interesting. So it's gonna be a little all over the place, but it's gonna hopefully inspire you to think outside the box when it comes to using floral foam. So as you can see, I've got 2 pieces of floral foam from the Dollar Tree, and we're gonna turn them into buoys. I thought, well, if we don't have that expensive wood right now, how can we make some buoys? So I thought, why not shape up some floral foam? And that's what I did. So I think they kind of look like buoys at the end, but I did do one covered in paper towel and I did do one covered in spackling. And y'all, if I could redo this, I would have probably done them both with the paper towel, but I wanted to see what the results would be. So I was kind of doing like a trial and error thing on paper towel crafting versus spackle crafting. And so the paper towel for me was a winner. So basically all I did was use my Mod Podge and I covered the floral foam with a paper towel. And I pinched it to where I could cut it like this, because it wasn't going to create a perfect overlap. So you'll be able to use Mod Podge to kind of cover up those seams. Plus it won't be as visible in the end because you're just going to paint over it anyways. But and then at the top, I just overlapped the folds and then added some Mod Podge. It wasn't really noticeable at all. And actually the paper towel gave it a really cool texture. I'm pretty sure you can tell at this point that I'm in love with paper towel craft. We've used it a couple times. So just glue your bottom, and we're going to go on to getting the spackling ready for the other piece of floral foam. And I just mixed some white paint in with the spackling to help kind of create a different consistency with it. And then I just applied it with a popsicle stick and wanted to get it to look textured. So butter it up all the way around and then dry it as you go. Now I'm going to be honest with you. By the way, I'm adding holes so that we can put rope through this later. I thought that was a smart idea to go ahead and do that ahead of time. I will tell you that when it came to the spackle, let it dry if you can overnight, because mine did not want to dry very quick. And I was painting while it was still kind of wet. And so I think that's probably why I was the most disappointed with the spackle one. But this here paper towel one, like it was just one of my favorites. The paint did like this ombre so perfectly. It was so cool. I did do some bright colors on this one because I felt like it was, if you were to do like a beachy nautical kind of, theme, you would want these kind of coastal colors. So that's kind of what I went with. Now you can see on the spackle one that it wasn't near as seamless as I expected it to be. The spackling wanted to come up. It was kind of chunky and I forgot my hole, so I had to put the hole in. And then I added the, different layers, and then I just got to the end and was just like, let's just do it. It's not going to match at all, but we got the effect I was going for. And I learned a lot about the spackling versus a paper towel. Now I did put the nautical rope through and created a little loop on both of them. That's how we're going to hang it. And I glued them end to end to create that loop. But if you wanted to use something else, you certainly can. And then I just added a little, nautical rope embellishing there at the end, just to kind of dress it up and give it some, I don't know, it's just some little detail. Now you could do that on the other one. It was still wet, so I didn't do it, but I wanted to incorporate that same ribbon that we had used before with the ship's wheel into the buoys in case those two wanted to go together. And then I just created the loops so that we can hang them. I was really surprised at how this turned out. It was very interesting. So I did learn a lot, about how we can use floral foam and just different things like that. But I would love to know what you think about this one, and hopefully it inspired you, and I will see you in the next video.